This Chat with the Experts is brought to you by Angie's List on 93 WIBC.
Welcome back to Chat with the Experts, brought to you by Angie's List. We are joined today by Deb Meno of Puppy Playground. We've been talking a lot today about preparing your dog for the upcoming season and offering some grooming advice as well. However, one thing we haven't talked much about is cats, and so now seems like a good time to share some feline facts. Dr. Jody Clark, who's a veterinarian with Pender Veterinary Center in Fairfax, Virginia, recently wrote a really great article for our experts program at Angie's List titled Caring for Your Senior Cat. And with many of today's indoor cats living well into their late teens, senior health for your cat has become an extremely important part of feline medicine, and it all begins with scheduling frequent exams. Checkup every 6 months is essential for cats that are aged 8 years and older, and most cats are extremely skilled at hiding illness, and while some diseases have obvious clinical signs, initial changes may be subtle and go unnoticed, especially in multi-cat households. The most common sign of disease that you'll find in senior cats is weight loss, usually noted by the veterinarian during a routine exam. And weight loss alone is an indication for that there may need to be blood work or urinalysis or even an intestinal parasite check, which compromise the minimum medical database for an older pet. Discussing the subtle changes in behavior with a veterinarian may be able to indicate some underlying problems that are going on. Increased drinking, changes in appetite, more frequent urinating, and other litter pan issues may be the first clue that you have a problem. And early detection of problems allows for more successful management of the disease at hand. If you want more information on caring for your senior cat, you can read this full article by Dr. Jody Clark and get a whole lot of other really great information about caring for your pets simply by going to our Solution Center. It's angieslist.com/articles. We have a lot of really wonderful articles on all kinds of home, lifestyle, and pet subjects. Of course, we also have videos, podcasts, photo galleries, and a lot more. So check it out. It's our Solution Center at angieslist.com/articles. All right, it is time for the portion of the show where we invite our listeners into the studio. It's called Consumers Ask, and every week on the show we take questions from Twitter, Facebook, and our online Angie's List Answers forum, and we turn to our guest to get some answers. Deb, you ready to help these folks out?
Let's do it.
All right, let's start with a question from Jenny, who asks how often she should have her dog professionally groomed. And from what we talked about earlier, it sounds like this is going to be based on a number of different factors and, what you're comfortable with your own dog.
Sure. And it's hard to know exactly what type of dog, Jenny has, or everyone varies a little bit differently. Yeah. My hair grows a little faster than your hair grows, and so I might need to have mine trimmed a little bit more frequently. What I would recommend is ask your groomer. They're going to have the best baseline for what's going to be best for your dog. And especially some of the dogs that need to be trimmed, the reason they need to be trimmed is because they have a very cottony coat that might go through and get tangled. And so by keeping that coat a little bit shorter, you reduce the risk of getting those matted. Yeah. And so I would say probably every couple of months is going to be a good rule of thumb, more or less depending upon the specific dog. Yeah.
Well, and to go along with the grooming conversation, Max wants to know what is typically involved in the cost of dog grooming.
Sure. There can be a little bit of sticker shock of when you do go up to pick up your dog, but not only is it a haircut, but it's typically a bathing, a brush out, ear cleaning, teeth cleaning, anal gland expression, and let's just say you want to pay for that. That's not something you want to do on your own, as well as going through and making sure that your dog gets all the essential hygiene care that they need. Right. So prices can vary, but there is a lot more than just a haircut involved in that price factor. Yeah,
no question about it, and a lot of really important stuff there that you may not think about just as a typical pet owner that needs to be addressed. Yep. Trisha asks if there are any vaccinations required for her to board her pet at somewhere like Puppy Playground.
Exactly. And with safety being our number one priority, the very first thing we do when we have a new client and a new pup walk in the door is to check those vaccination records. For Puppy Playground, we require 3 different vaccinations, those being rabies, the distemper suite, as well as Bordetella, which is the kennel cough vaccine.
Yeah.
A couple other things that you want to make sure is, are that your dog is on year-round flea and heartworm prevention.
Okay.
That even during the winter months when fleas may not be prevalent, they can still be living inside. And it's best to make sure that you're keeping your dog on a year-round flea and heartworm prevention. And then you also want to have a negative fecal before going into a facility to address any intestinal parasites to make sure you're keeping everyone safe, clean, and healthy.
I'm glad you brought that up because I think a lot of people think about things like flea and heartworm like in the summer, like, oh, my dog's going to be back outside again, time to, think about this. But there's some of these things that we need to be thinking about year round. Are there any other common things to think about during the colder months that come to mind?
The flea and the heartworm's a big thing. And I think just staying on that preventative maintenance schedule of just staying on monthly rotation of giving that medication. That way, too, if, we're getting mosquitoes a little earlier in the year, there's no need to worry. Your dog's already on preventative.
Yeah, really great advice. Maddie wants to know what a typical day at doggy daycare looks like. Is there generally a schedule at hand, or what can they expect to happen?
Lots of play, lots of running around and playing. When we have a dog get dropped off in the morning, we go through the check-in process of getting everyone, in for the day, finding out if there's any departure services or grooming services that need to happen. And it's hysterical to watch the dogs just fly in the door. They're like, later, Dad, gotta go. And as soon as they get in, they'll find some of their buddies, and it's, like Norm walking into Cheers. Yeah. Everybody's got to go through and say hi to everybody. So we go through in the morning, and it's a little bit more high energy playtime. Okay. Middle of the day, they'll start to settle down a little bit. We personally don't have a specific schedule that we follow, with the exception for some of our puppies. So some of our little guys we need to make sure are getting a lot more rest time. And so, for example, Huck Pickett, who's a little Newfoundland baby that we have, he plays until 9, and then he has nap time from 9 until 11, and then he comes out, and then he has lunch. So we're happy to work with any owners to make sure that we're trying to keep the schedule that they need for their little guy.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm wondering what you look for in terms of hiring for Puppy Playground. What are the skill sets that you generally are seeking for someone to work with? Yeah.
We get our workout during the day as well. So, but really, it's somebody that values the privilege of taking care of, these are everybody's babies, and we call ourselves dogs moms and dog dads, and someone that wants to show up every day and value the privilege of having that special position. That being said, we look for people that have a passion for cleaning and as well as for customer service and making sure that our clients feel like they're part of our pack and part of our family.
Yeah, that's really great. Sheldon asks if his dog's exercise habits should change as his dog ages.
They should. Biggest thing is keep exercising your dog. Muscle atrophy can happen so quickly. And from personal experience, I had a dog who recently passed that went from the healthiest guy in the world to downhill very quickly. And so having that baseline of good exercise, I think, just like for we as humans, if you keep yourself strong and healthy, then you'll probably have a longer chance of living a more full life. And I think the same thing is true for our pets. We've got a lot of senior dogs that have been coming to daycare for a long time. And I think having that daily exercise, having that social stimulation are things that have really been driving factors to giving them a long, healthy life.
Yeah. It seems absolutely clear that would be the case. So you had mentioned earlier in the show that, up until noon, you're taking dogs in at Puppy Playground. Yeah. Do you ever have I would imagine you have some days where things maybe stay a little crazier throughout the day than others. Is that kind of something you see happen?
After 12 years of being in business, we know how to do it. Yeah. We've got our staff, very well trained and, if we need to ebb and flow a little bit to be able to provide more care and service in this area, we certainly have the capability to do such. And part of the reason actually for our noon drop off is that we have staff change at 1:00. Yeah. So if we're having a busier day and we need to make some adjustments to that gives us the capability to do such. So that way we can keep an appropriate staff to dog ratio, so that we are providing the safest possible environment for the dogs to be playing in.
Yeah, excellent. That's going to do it for today's listener questions. Huge thank you as always, to all of our listeners out there for submitting your questions. If you've got one you would like to ask us, you can like Angie's List on Facebook, follow Angie's List on Twitter, and visit our online forum at answers.angieslist.com. Deb, thank you so much for taking the time to join us again today. It's always great to have you on. And
it's been my pleasure. I always enjoy coming to speaking with you.
Definitely. That's going to do it for Deb Meno of Puppy Playground, but we're not done yet. Coming up, we're going to welcome in Angie's List writer and resident pet expert Kaylee Blakovich to share some more pet tips. Keep it right here. You're listening to Chat with the Experts. Need more help with hiring for home services? Silver and Gold membership plans are now available at Angie's List, with available features like exclusive savings on service from top-rated companies purchased through angieslist.com, guarantees to help make your life easier, helpful support from our member care team, a complaint resolution process, and more. There's a plan that offers value and convenience for every home. Learn more about membership options and get the complete details at angieslist.com.